Welcome back to another episode of One-on-One with Mitch Lafon, brought to you, of course, by Heavy Montreal, this year featuring Metallica, Slayer, Lamb of God, Anthrax, Twisted Sister, and many more. That takes place August 9th and 10th at Parc Jean Drapeau in Montreal. And also sponsored now by the Skid Row Show in Montreal, August 19th at the Corona Theatre. On the line, the one and only RUSS DWARF, generally my co-host, but today you are going to be the primary focus.
All right. Hi, Mitch. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
We've chatted over the last month or so, but we haven't been able to get down to business because we've both been
incapacitated.
Incapacitated, yes.
But
keeping the medical industry in business.
Yes, it's our prime objective. I think when was that Star Trek? That they talk about the prime objective?
The prime objective, yes.
Yeah, I don't think they meant medical services rendered, but we've redefined it as meaning that.
Exactly. Oh.
So normally what we do here, Russ, is I interview somebody, and then you and I get together and we chit chat about the interview, and we've done that with Alice Cooper and all this.
Yep.
But you were on tour through the month of May. Yeah, we did that with Luke. And you were on tour with the Killer Dwarfs, the one and only Killer Dwarfs, Canada's most notorious band. And
there you go. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good title. You were down in Texas, and you stayed at Luke Carl's place out in Tennessee.
Yeah. We were in Tennessee. We were in New York, Tennessee, like Nashville, Memphis, Texarkana, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and we ended up in, we did 2 days at Rocklahoma. Yeah,
and, let's talk about the tour and how all that stuff went, but you've made a big splash all over the rock websites, coming back from Oklahoma, driving up through, I guess it was Indiana. There was a crash. We had just finished about 25 days, and we were supposed to be home that day. It was Memorial Day, May 26th, and we had just finished the Rocklahoma the day before, I think. I think we did a drive, and then we were on our last day drive, and we were I think it was around 1:30 in the afternoon, and we were going through Indiana, and I was actually reading a book in the back of the truck. And was it Paul Stanley's book?
I could say it was Paul Stanley's book. I'm waiting to get Paul Stanley's book. You haven't sent it to me yet. It was actually it was called Little Girl Blue, and it's a Karen Carpenter story.
Okay,
actually, but I wasn't really, I was reading the book, and the next thing you know, we were in a multi-car pileup on I-70 outside of Terre Haute, Indiana, and.
But what happened exactly? So, I mean, obviously it's May, so there's no snow or ice on the road.
No, perfectly clear day, sun shining.
Okay, so so it's not weather related.
No, but what happens down there a lot is the road construction, and I guess it came up, and people are weaving in and out, and I honestly I didn't see anything that happened. Because we do a lot of miles, and I'm not going to be looking at the highway the whole time. And we came up on this construction, I suspect, and some things happened. And the next thing you know, somebody was stopped dead. A bunch of cars stopped dead or tried to swerve in. I don't exactly know because I don't remember the part. I just remember the impact, and my head hit something, and I split my about an 8-inch gash on my left side of my head, and my skull was open and bleeding everywhere, and it was let the games begin. The next thing I knew, I was just in the ditch, and with the guys over top of me, and I was bleeding, and we had pillows and stuff. I was laying there, and I was asking them because I was completely conscious the whole time. Okay. I said to Daryl and Jerry, who were over top of me, and I said, how bad is it? And they didn't sugarcoat it. They went, no, it's bad. It's not good. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, if I can just interject a second here, I've seen the crash scene pictures, and it actually is traumatizing to see it. And stop me if I go too far in the description, but it just seemed as though the left side of your skull had been torn open.
yeah, I sent you those pictures, right? From
Yes, you
like,
did.
nobody's probably going to see those pictures, but yeah,
Nobody's going to see them from me. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah. It was down to my skull. My skull was exposed.
Yeah,
So,
I saw, and wow, it. Whew.
yeah, it was just a surreal. Just surreal in your mind when it's all happening. I guess you go into shock or something, but I was completely conscious. But the people that were there, the EMS and the paramedics, and they were exceptionally great.
Right.
And they put me in an ambulance, and I guess my blood pressure was dropping, and it crosses your mind. You think, oh, you might die. You know what I mean? But you're kind of like not even. It's such.
Was that a real fear from the medical people and from the hospital? Was there any talk of, hey, stat, this guy's going to die? I mean, was there any of that sense? I mean, whenever we get hurt, you get that feeling. Oh, I've broken my leg. Oh, I've twisted my ankle. Oh, I'm going to die. Like we always get those.
Yeah.
But was there an outside feeling that, this guy's a goner?
I had a few minutes of that. Like I've had a lot of injuries over the years just from being in the band and everything, just normal life things and everything. But that was.
I thought it was because you're so short and you try to go through turnstiles. It keeps banging on your head.
It was trying to get into Playland at McDonald's that morning in Indianapolis. But there was a split second, because there's a lot of people around you when that's happening, and I guess when it's a head injury like that, they're concerned that you've injured your brain or you've cracked your skull or something like that. That's what I was getting from them. So they want to stop the bleeding, but they're worried about putting pressure on it. I think. Like I'm not a medical guy, but I was conscious there, right? And as they're cutting your clothes off and hooking you up to everything under the sun, but there was a few moments in the ambulance when they were saying that my blood pressure was dropping, but that was probably because I was bleeding, like that. And then you hear, like Daryl and Jerry and Johnny were trying to come in the ambulance, and it's just so much stuff going on. And then you're hearing all the chatter that's going around because this is an everyday thing for them. They're doing their job. They're not trying to they're not sugarcoating anything or just. They were kind of joking around and stuff. It was kind of funny and stuff as they were, they're tickling my feet to see if I'm not paralyzed. And then you hear, the air ambulance is going to be here in 22 minutes. So then this is, they're not fooling around here. Yeah. They're taking me on a little trip. But there was a split second there or so that I was going, this could be the end. On a highway in Indiana. And you think of all, the miles you've done and everything, and I think of all the people that I know that have been in, in bands that have been in accidents, and, we think of Paul from Helix who, he didn't make it, you know what I mean? It's a traumatic adventure for sure, you know what I mean? But at the moment, I think you're more clear. Like if you're conscious, you're aware.
Okay, so here's sort of I don't want to say a silly question, but at some point you become at peace. You just get into that moment of acceptance and go,
yep, it's happening, and there's nothing. It's out of your control. You know what I mean? It's just that's the way it is, and you just have to roll with it, right? It's just the way it is.
The way it is now. It's funny every time you keep saying. Miles on the road. I keep thinking of that song that you sang with Hard Road.
Right. Go figure.
Right. But a great song, by the way.
Thank
you. So I see these pictures and I'm stunned. My heart drops and I think my blood pressure dropped. But then the next picture in the series that you sent me had stitches in your head, lying on a stretcher. How many stitches are we talking about? Or at the time, how many stitches were there?
I had 24 stitches.
Really?
When they
I could have sworn that you were in the 70s or 80s or 90s. It just looked like they stitched you up your entire left side.
The guy did a really good job,
Okay.
and they did like 12 dissolvable,
Right.
the whatever ones, and then 12 sutures that I had to have removed like 7 days later, whatever. And I heal really well for some reason. I've always, any injury I get, I usually heal pretty well. So it's not looking that bad. It's a giant gash. You're not going to miss it. I'm Franken Dwarf now, but
That's a good new name. Now, so you've got the 20 plus stitches.
yeah,
And there were thoughts maybe his skull is fractured, maybe he's not.
yeah.
There was talk of plastic surgery.
Yeah, I think I still might have to have plastic surgery at this point, but at that point, that when I got to the hospital on my probably $30,000 helicopter flight,
Yeah,
that I didn't even get to look out the window.
I know. For $31,000, they could have at least propped you up for a window seat.
Fly around or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
They were pumping me full of Elvis drugs at the time, so
buzz the local baseball field and catch a couple of innings. Come on.
yeah, just fly around a bit, to go over the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah,
But go ahead. Sorry.
no, I just saying. But instead, you got direct service to a hospital emergency room. I mean, come on.
I was Indianapolis, the Methodist Trauma Center in Indianapolis. I think that's where they take all the
Canadians.
the Canadians. No, the Indianapolis 500 is there, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of famous dead race car drivers have been in there.
Oh, what a gruesome thought. But
It is.
okay, but what is so we're talking now, and it's about 3 weeks or 3 weeks removed actually since it happened.
It's actually 2 weeks and a day.
Ooh. Okay. So was the skull fractured? I'm guessing no.
The skull wasn't fractured. They did a CT scan, and everything was fine.
Any kind of noticeable brain injury? I mean, are you getting migraines? Are you forgetting stuff? Are you? I don't know.
It's so early to tell right now and everything.
Okay.
Like I've lost all, like, when you go to the dentist and you get the needles for in your gums or whatever when you're going to get a tooth out.
Right.
On the top of my head is all like that. I have no feeling, and on the left side of my head, on my forehead, like if you see if you see the scar and everything, you can see the left side that whole side is numb. I can't feel anything. It's weird when you try to like take a shower and you can't feel the water.
Kind of permanent Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
But is that injury induced or is that medication induced?
No, I'm off all medication. I didn't have hardly anything. I had I think ibuprofen, and I think I had Oxycontin for I only had like 12 pills or something. They don't want to get you jacked up on goofballs. Nope. Like when I was in there, they obviously gave me lots of stuff because they had to sew me up and everything. But they said it's probably going to be some permanent nerve damage there because all the nerves are cut, right? So that might go away and it might not go away. Like my right side is fine, but the left side is not happening for some reason. Yeah. But it's going to be time. I guess just time, right? I'm a little worried about getting back on the horse and being able to sing and stuff. I'm not ready yet, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 weeks after a major accident, who would be? Now, of course, the June 7th rock and roll, hard rock thing that was going down in Toronto was postponed until September. But I think you've got some shows coming up in August.
I do. I have a show an acoustic show that I'm supposed to do at Bronze Concert Cove on
July 25th.
No, June 22nd. I have a charity for a guy that was in an accident that I signed on for because Ray Braun and Andrea Braun are great friends of mine, and I would do anything for them. So I'm going to see if I can do that. So I won't be, I'll be sitting down, so hopefully I can do that. We're going to just play it by ear and see if I can do it.
Right, and I'm assuming that they're not pressuring you and saying,
No, not at all. Ray and Andrea are great friends of ours, and Bronze Concert Cove. Everybody should go there. He has great bands. We're going to do the July 25th. Will probably be the first KD gig back, and that's a big day because Daryl's getting married to Strays.
Right.
Daryl Dwarf and Ted Poley's going to be on that, and Cheap Thrill, and he's really not my friend. John Corabi.
That's right. Okay, so
The evil John
the
Corabi.
evil John. You got to love John. But so my question then is, okay, physically you have the stamina to stand there, and you have the vocal cords to sing. What about the noise? When you plug in those Marshalls or those PV amps or whatever you're using, and it starts blaring at 90, 100 decibels, with the injury to your head, do you know if that's going to affect it at all? Are you going to start getting headaches? Are you going to get dizzy? I mean, do you know anything?
It's hard to say because, daily, like you and I have talked the whole time,
Right.
and my days are, I'm tired. I'm tired all the time, and I'm not sleeping well and everything. But I'm sure, I am so lucky.
Well, you're living rock star days. I mean, you're getting up at like 10 in the morning, staying
right.
at home,
right?
And then. Well, right now you're talking to me and you're outside in the sun.
Well, it's not sunny. It's not sunny here. It's actually overcast.
Well, you're still just hanging out. That's what rock stars do.
You know me, Mitch. Mitch. You know me. I'm in bed by 9:30 and I'm up at 6:30 every morning. So I'm an old rock star.
You're a Canadian rock star,
or I'm a Canadian washed up rock star. But we'll see. The bottom line is, I'm extremely lucky. I could have, I could have died, or I could have been,
Well, just think about me and all of this. We're doing this one-on-one, and you're my co-host.
I know.
I'd have to hold auditions. I'd have to find somebody else.
You'd have to get Daryl. He'd have to do it with you.
Yeah, and he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. That's a whole other problem.
That would never work. And I hate sports, so it's perfect.
See, it works. Right. Yeah. But the good news then, for anybody still listening, is that you're fine. And
I'm good.
Right. Okay.
I'm good. I'm above ground. I'm happy to be alive. I'm great. I'm happy to be home with Christy and Jackson, and waiting to see Maggie in August, and just taking it day by day, trying to enjoy the summer and everything. I got a birthday coming up and everything, so.
Yeah. Well, it's glad that you're going to be around for it now. A couple of episodes back, I had a chance, while you were out on tour, I had a chance to speak to Mark Kendall of Great White. And he came on with his wife and started talking about this whole, how it is to be on the road. And his wife was on the line saying, sometimes when a bill has to be paid or a kid has to be picked up and this and that, it becomes complicated. So let's start with that premise, but let's start from the accident back. The accident occurs. Obviously, your wife is contacted.
Absolutely.
How does she react to this? I mean,
well, I don't.
Did they try to sugarcoat it for her and say, "Listen, he was in an accident; he'll be fine," or did they say, "Listen, his head was smashed"? Okay.
They did try to sugarcoat it with her. Robbie, Robbie, he's our business manager. He said, "Oh, it's not bad and everything," but she's, you're on the internet and you're reading he's airlifted, in critical condition, blah blah blah, and
she's not a dummy.
Yeah, this is not good. But my mother-in-law was calling the hospital, and we've been through a lot of, my personal life more than anybody, that we've been through a lot of family traumas in the last couple of years. And Christy's brother, one of her brothers, was killed by a drunk driver when he was on vacation and stuff. So it was that flashback to her in her mind. So it's not good. It's not good for. It's hard for the family when you're away in general.
It really is. By the way, you just mentioned drunk driver. There was no alcohol involved in this accident at all.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, so the driver that hit you or you hit or whatever, nobody had any...
As far as I know, I haven't seen the police reports, but there's no... it's just operator error. It's just an accident. It was an out-and-out accident. You could fall down the bathtub.
Right, absolutely. Okay. Because I just... I hadn't heard that mentioned, and I just wanted to make sure that, But so tell me a little bit about life on the road. I mean, Mark and Bridget Kendall of Mark being of Great White.
Yes.
Were explaining, that, it's kind of cool to hang out at the shows and have a backstage pass. But there's also some realities. Let's talk a little bit about your realities.
Yeah.
How has it been over the years? And recently with all these with touring and stuff.
Well, I've heard that interview and everything, and
Right.
I can completely agree with it. And the great thing about, like we're both from the same genre and the same era and everything,
Yep.
right? And us being Canadian, it's a different kettle of fish for us because we, mainly work in the U.S. So for them, like they were saying, they fly out on Thursday and come back on Sunday. Now,
Right, which is easy to do.
that's that must be great to do that, but since we're in Canada, there's so much other red tape involved and everything, we can't do that. It's just it's financially impossible. So when we do dates, we need to go out for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, let me stop you there. Let's just explain to the folks also that when you're playing, a Canadian band plays in the States or an American band plays in Canada, you need a green card, you need proper date paperwork, you need custom forms. There's a
Yeah,
whole kit and caboodle that you
yeah,
don't see as a fan. It's completely seamless. But bands have this reality, which
that's
is
right.
why you always get, hey, Great White, why don't you play Montreal? And it's like,
Right.
well, because it costs a shitload of money to come play Montreal. We
Yep.
got to pay all these
Yeah.
costs. And so
It's
that's why
red.
a Canadian band going to the States has to do a 3-week run. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
it's not feasible to do
Right.
it, and we get paperwork that goes for a year, but that that's a whole extensive process to do that, and
Hmm.
it's a pain in the ass for sure. It's not like we're just like, woo, let's get the rum and go down, drive over the border. Hey, we're coming to play shows. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, too bad free trade that came in years
Yeah,
ago didn't cover that because that would
yeah,
have been perfect.
that didn't work. Well, we need a old washed up heavy metaler in power in Canada,
We
so
do.
and in the States.
I vote
But
for Geddy Lee.
I vote for Geddy Lee. I'd vote for Geddy Lee in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Okay,
But
so go ahead.
uh, so that there's a circumstance right there. When I heard that, I've known that for years. Like back in when we were extensively touring, we would do 150, 200 shows a year. So
Hmm.
that's a different story. And you're young and you don't have a family, and But now we all have families, and Daryl has a 3-year-old daughter, and we all have obligations, and we do other things and stuff. You know what I mean? So going down for 3 or 4 weeks, it's hard on the families,
Yeah.
because like I live up in the country, and Christy's alone with the puppy and stuff, and we just moved here last year, so there's not a lot of family around and stuff. Like we're not a million miles away from things, but people can't just drop in and stuff. So
Well, I was actually going to ask you about that because I haven't seen the new place. I mean, you moved in the last year. Do you have a neighbor next door? Like, let's say you're on the road and your wife has some kind of emergency, medical or mechanical or whatever. Is
yeah,
there somebody
we
next
we
door that can pick her up, or is
yeah.
she miles and miles away from people?
No, she's close.
Okay,
We have a couple neighbors that are really good.
okay, okay.
They're really good people and stuff, but it's still not your family and everything. You know
Right.
what I mean? And we have a great life, and we like to be together and stuff. You know what I mean? It's hard on everybody, and honestly, touring is hard at this age. Like I'll be 54 this month, and
Again?
on again I'll be 54 again. Yeah,
Wow, that's the 10th anniversary of your
I know.
54th birthday.
I see you're the only one that agrees with that. I'm like really 94 in dog years,
Yeah, right.
but I'm like I get lonely, or not lonely. I just get homesick
Right.
when I'm out there. It's the same old hotel room and blah blah blah, and the crappy food and everything. I love being with the guys. The great thing about the dwarfs, we all get along really well, and
Yes.
we can go through anything, and we have a lot of fun and everything. Even through this whole catastrophe, you know what I mean. We were stuck for 2 days after I got out of the hospital in Terre Haute, and we huddled together and had a good time and stuff. But it's tough, man. It's shitty. Like
Yeah.
I had to fly home by myself, and that was shit. To have
Yeah,
to
well,
leave
especially with the injury and stuff. That's not a comfortable
yeah,
situation. By the way, did any of the
and to
other
leave them and
guys,
everything.
did they sustain any kind of noticeable? I mean, I know Daryl posted that his drums survived unscathed,
Yeah,
but what about him?
mm, all the gear was fine. Those guys got bruises and uh, small lacerations and stuff.
Right. Stuff they could walk away from.
Yeah, airbags and everything, that
So
kind of
what
thing.
did
But
you hit exactly that cracked open the...
we're assuming that I hit a seat. Like I was kind of sitting sideways, and
Right, okay.
when I was reading this book, and like when it came on, I think it came on so fast. Like I said, it was, you relive it in your head. That's the problem too with this. It's like I can't imagine, these people that are in these wars or, and all this stuff. Like that must be unbelievably way more traumatic. Because I'll be in bed at night, I can hear the sounds in the crash, and it was hard to get in the car again, and just do that. And we have to talk about the people that actually helped us too.
Go ahead.
During that whole thing, like a huge amount of fans came to our aid, and like there was, we had fans in Terre Haute that actually helped, that showed up and wanted to do anything they could to help the guys and us. I just want to get some of their names.
Yeah.
If I can.
No, yeah. Go for it. And maybe while you're there, I'll throw in another plug for the Heavy Montreal Festival.
Yes, Heavy Montreal. And what did you say?
I'll mention some of the other bands that...
Twisted Sisters there. We just saw Twisted Sister in Rocklahoma. Yes.
What a great band. But look for those names. So
I have these names like I have all the paramedics and EMS names and stuff, but it's way too much to mention. But the fans that stepped up, Roy Blankenshane, right. He came down from Kalamazoo and picked the guys up and brought a trailer and brought the gear and drove them home. Like, amazing. And Ty Smith from Terre Haute, a fan, he actually can't, he's got the trailer now. Like, we thought it was total, but he's got that. And, everybody's come. Chuck Spear drove me to the airport. Like, it's overwhelming. You really don't know how grateful, you are, and what this music's done to people. They step up to the plate. They
really do. Well, listen, that's the Terre Haute, Indiana is ground zero for the KISS Army. That's where it all got started. That's right. They're used to taking care of their bands and showing their love for bands.
It's an amazing thing, man. It's really heartwarming to know that. They don't know us from Adam, right?
No.
They just showed up at the hotel and was like, yeah, I'll drive you to the airport.
See, so that's a good thing. Now, going back to the 80s when you were on the road and the family was just starting and stuff, did you miss any of those big days? Did you miss a kindergarten graduation or the birth of or the 6th birthday?
Well, you can always remember, I always remember, that's where we were. I'll remember when Daryl's first daughter was born, what hotel we were in. And, I have a great memory. Hopefully I still do. Right. But you remember all that stuff. And I've kept everything. Like, I'm a hoarder. Like, I have everything. And people usually give me stuff back. And in those days, there was no cell phones or internet or anything. So, we sent postcards and called from truck stops and stuff. And I still have all these postcards and that I sent my mother and,
telegrams.
And you actually did get telegrams from people and stuff. It was bizarre. Like, here's the Western Union at the gig. Good luck at the show. It's like time has changed so much. You know what I mean? But nowadays we have Skype and everything, so I can Skype home or we FaceTime or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a great asset to have. If you can get 5 minutes to yourself and everything. Yeah. But it's a lonely, lonely life. It's not this big exciting thing for older rock and roll guys, and I completely agree with what those guys in Great White said, and their wives. It was
when you're making the $1 million, like a U2 or a Madonna or a Kiss and all that.
That's $1 billion.
There's certainly a lot of greatness that the money can do for you, but if you read Paul Stanley's book, and I'm sure you will at some point, he talks really about being lonely a lot of the time, and having been backstage and stuff, it's really not that glamorous. It's you show up to the hotel in the afternoon, you're driven to the gig, you play the gig, you're in the backstage area pretty much alone or with a few
Yeah.
hangers on, and
Yeah.
then you play the show, you get back into the thing, and you go, and people say, "Wow, what did you think of Montreal?" And you go, "Dude, I didn't see Montreal. I saw
Yeah.
a hotel lobby which looked
Yeah.
like every other hotel lobby,
Exactly.
and I saw a
Yeah.
backstage area that had fresher fruit than the last city, but it's still a backstage."
Yeah. No, it is. It's very boring, and there's no backstage. There's no like.
No.
That's an illusion, but that's it's like pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah. So
Everybody wants to get back there, but there's really nothing going on. It's quite dull and uneventful. And honestly, I love doing the shows. It's the most fun part, the 90 minutes or the 2 hours that you do, and you get to meet the fans and stuff. But honestly, I can't wait to get back to the hotel and go to sleep and wake up and do that again and count the days down until you get home. I know that sounds awful, but it's the truth,
But that's a story for a lot of rock stars. That
Yeah.
I've heard that more than once, and certainly not just from you. But
Well, and you've seen it a million times too. You've been to all the shows, and you know the drill. It's not, it might be for a fan, it's great because this might be the thing of, the great moment of their life to enjoy that night and everything. But it's just another night. It's just the same old night.
Well, I was talking to a roadie yesterday, and I was asking him about they're going out on a major tour this summer with one of the major bands. I don't want to say who.
Oh, who?
Hey.
Oh, tell me after.
No.
Yes, you.
And I said, "Hey, it's going to be exciting. You're going to do." And he said, "You know what? If they didn't pay me, I wouldn't be there."
Yeah.
And it's like, but all that said, all that negativity that we're discussing, it just goes to show the power of music, because there's no other job in the world where you would be so, I don't want to say miserable, but so like, just get me home, that you would keep doing it.
Yeah.
And music, man, that feeling of, and of course you know it more than I do, of being on stage and seeing the fans sing along the words to you and clap along, and you say hey, and they say hey, and it's such a great vibe.
It is a great vibe, and it's where it's a gifted life. There's no doubt about it, and it's egocentric and everything else that goes along with it. But you're right. The bottom line is the spirit of the music. It touches people. I've always said you're plucking the heartstrings of the humans, and I'm a fan first. Just you and I are both huge fans of music. You know what I mean? It's you can hear a song and it inspires you or changes your life, or you remember a moment, and that's the greatest thing, to be able to like make music with like my comrades that I have, and we just do like a small tour like we just did, and you have like all these fans coming up going, oh, I was in the most depressed part of my life, and your songs just made a positive mood in my life, and really helped me through a lot of stuff. That's an amazing thing.
It really is.
If one person said that to you, that is incredible. Like when you think of it, like it's you're humbled. You're definitely humble. We don't have the cure to cancer, man. And this is like fucking rock and roll. There's 3 chords. I know both of them. Like forget it. It's like it's crazy. It's a crazy, crazy life, and we're so lucky to have it, and very grateful.
Yeah, and of course, assuming that there's no complications, you don't get massive migraines when you go on stage and all that. The band is going to tour, do some shows in August. That show in July. What do you call it? I don't want to say Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What am I trying to say here?
It's the
Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock Hall of Fame. They're inducting the Tricycle or whatever, and we have a couple tours in September and October. We're going to be in Florida at some stuff, and I think where the hell? In Nebraska and Illinois, and we're going to be in the Yukon in November. And we're going to Vegas, and we're going to play in the Whiskey in October, I think, in LA. There's a bunch of stuff going on, but like we said, we're just going to take it day by day, and we have some new material and stuff, and you have some new material from us.
I do.
Yes, you do.
And
some special material.
I do. and I have it all planned for a special date. August 27th will be my hint for anybody who pays attention to dates.
Cool.
You know, um,
Yeah.
I gotta say I'm actually looking forward to being able to discuss those tracks because bloody sound killer.
They turned out great.
They
We
did.
had we had such a fun day doing that, and we're all of us are great fans of that band. I won't even say that band.
Yeah,
Everyone everyone will
and
know already, but
and of course the additional player
yeah,
that's on
yeah.
it adds a lot the proper dimension, or not the proper, because your version without the extra player was great, but
But it
it
gives them some legitimacy. Some,
but your version was legitimate too. We got to find a better word.
yeah, I don't know. You know
You
what
know
I mean?
what? It kicks it
Authenticity.
yeah.
It's hard to say. It was just a great thing to
It
have.
was, yeah. It was
Yeah,
an added bonus.
yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
It was like having Nicky Hopkins play on the Dwarf ballads.
Yeah. See, so there you go. Now, um, I also interviewed Bumblefoot, and that interview's coming up, and hopefully you'll come back to your co-hosting duties for that
You
one.
you know I'm gonna, because I hate that guy the most.
Ha,
He
that's
he
right.
is he is the most evil bastard in rock and roll. That Bumblefoot.
He's yes, no, he's the greatest. Well, what you
I'm supposed
know?
to go. I'm supposed to go to dinner with him. Like I think on the 21st or something.
Oh, that's going to be very cool. Now he played on your wireless CD. Why don't you just
He
tell the
did.
folks about that CD and the song he played on and
Wireless. Yeah.
yeah, and the solo. I mean, well, I'll just describe the
Here's,
solo. You sent me the song in the morning, and you
right.
said, "Can you get Bumble to play on this?" I sent it to Bumble in the morning,
Hmm.
and in the morning he returned it with the solo done, and I was just like,
Yeah. He's the
"Huh,
cool. He's the
okay."
coolest. He's the coolest cat ever. You introduced me to him quite a few years ago.
Mm,
And we had a lot of nice chats, and he's just the sweetest cat you could ever meet. Not to mention the most talented guy. Like he's unbelievable. And we did. I'm not good with asking other people to do stuff for me and stuff, but we did this. I've been doing this acoustic thing for a couple of years with Glenn Belcher,
yeah,
friend of mine,
great
and
talent.
we did 10. We were doing these sets, and they said, "Oh, let's do 10 of your favorite Dwarf songs." So we did that acoustically, and the album's called RUSS DWARF Wireless. And Fred Duvall, who you worked with a lot too, he did an amazing job engineering and producing this thing. We had
Absolutely.
tons of friends on the CD that came. We just played. We actually originally went to do it as a live off the floor thing, which would take a couple days, and it turned into 9 months. And because we had so much fun doing it. But yeah, Bumble, I think, I don't know if it was Robbie or you or somebody was saying, just ask him. And I just felt shy about asking him. And Bumble, like within an hour
Yeah,
or something, he pulled off 2 solos and said, "Oh, how's this? Is this good?" I said,
and they were fucking killer.
and they're amazing, and it's on a song called "Drifting Back." You must hear it.
I'm
He's just,
drifting back. What a great song.
yeah, that's a fab tune that I love a lot, and I love playing that song live. But uh, I can't thank him enough. He's just the nicest. I've met tons of people over the years, but Bumblefoot is amazing
Yeah,
as a musician and as a human being. He's just
yeah.
the
As a
nicest.
person first, and as a
Yeah,
musician
yeah,
second. Yeah, it's the same story when we did the A World with Heroes
yeah.
Kiss tribute CD. The first person I sent an email to was Bumble, and he didn't even answer yes. He sent me a full done up demo of Detroit Rock City by that afternoon with a drum machine and stuff. Now, later on, we went in and got our live drummer, Brian Tishy, and we got it.
Yeah,
But he didn't even go, oh, well, my schedule's busy. But no. He
yeah.
sent back a finished song. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's the
I'm
same
in.
thing. Same thing we did with me. Didn't hum and ha or anything. The next thing I know, I had the track. So,
Yeah, and that's you got to respect that.
well, if anybody gets a chance to go see Bumble, go see him. And
Right, he's on
you
tour
know,
with Yngwie
but
Malmsteen coming up,
he
so
is.
that's
Yeah,
definitely. And he's got a Kickstarter campaign, so just go to Kickstarter and
yeah.
look up Bumblefoot
Help the Bumble.
and support him.
Yeah.
And of course, just before I wrap up here, I'm going to finish off with the Heavy Montreal plug. So again, And you know what? I'm going to pick the bands that are playing Heavy Montreal, but I'm going to put them in your honor. So
All right, then.
August 9th and 10th at Parc Jean Drapeau, we've got Heavy Montreal. We, of course, mentioned Metallica and Slayer, but in Russ's honor, let's mention some of the other bands. We've got Beheading of a King.
Oh, my God.
Huh?
I have all their albums.
Yes. We
I love that band.
We have Fucked Up.
Oh, I love that band.
See, I'm tying this into your accident.
I can tell.
We have Body Count.
Oh my God, I'm missing the fucking. Yeah, I got it now. Okay.
Overkill.
Yeah.
Municipal Waste.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 Days Grace.
Okay. and
Lamb of God.
Right. I want to add my own at the end.
Bad Religion. We Came as Romans. You enjoy it? Biblical?
I'm loving this, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
The Motor League.
Okay.
And of course, we've got, let's finish off with, we've got Canadian band Monster Truck, and of course, my favorite, Anthrax, Twisted Sister, and Metallica. Basically, they rule the universe.
Well, Metallica.
Yeah.
Metallica rules your universe. And
no, they rule the universe.
Okay.
They are the world's greatest band. They know exactly how to give the fans what they want. They change their set list every night. They don't give you some bullshitty excuse of only the diehards want to hear. No, they just play it. They go, I want to play that song. We're going to play it.
I'm a fan. I think we should add a band, Get Insurance.
Yeah, well, Get Insurance is not playing Heavy Montreal, but yeah, Helicopter Ride.
I have insurance.
Yeah, thank God for the insurance.
Oh Lord, yeah. If any musicians are listening to this, if they're still listening after our babblings, do not ever leave your house without leave your house without premium insurance.
Get that tour insurance and everything.
Yeah, you must have that.
Try to get hurt in Montreal or in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, before the border, flip your truck and demolish everything and get a giant head gash.
That's right. Flip it in Windsor, not
That's
Detroit.
Right.
So there you go. Oh, and of course, August 19th, Skid Row at the Corona Theatre in downtown Montreal. Of course,
yes,
the return of Skid Row. They haven't been here since 2002, I think it was. Was that a show you opened?
And who played with them that night?
I believe it was you.
The Vaginal Cunts or something?
Yes, the Vaginal Croutons opened.
Yeah, right, yeah. They put
were you also on that bill, though?
And we were also on that bill.
That's right.
Yes, with your lovely wife-to-be.
Yes, she was there.
Before you had vermin and everything.
Yes.
So that's all good. Yeah, we love the Skids.
And the Vaginal Croutons, it was a Shome FM DJ named Mike Babbins. Mike's a great guy. He's out in Vancouver now, and he runs is part of the organization.
Was he Metal Mike or something?
He was Metal Mike.
Yeah, right. And I think I did something with him.
Yeah, you did an interview with him, and he runs or is part of the organization that runs the 70 tons of metal cruise.
Cool.
That has all the heavy, the death metal bands.
I won't be on that.
No.
I'll tell you that right now.
Though it would be fun.
I don't think I could. Well, maybe.
A cruise is a cruise.
How are the hot dogs and pizza?
Pretty good. Well, there you go.
All right.
So the good news is RUSS DWARF is alive and kicking.
Yes, he is. He'll be back for another day.
We're keeping the spirit alive.
Jackson's here too.
And the dog is there.
He's right here, yeah.
Yeah. We could anyway. So I was thinking about the pictures you've been posting, and you posted a couple with the dog, and
yeah, that's my boy, Jackson.
Telling you,
he's just a baby.
So more dwarves coming down the road, and of course, Russ will be sticking around as co-host. We're going to talk Bumblefoot and for Canada Day and all that. We're going to do some Canadian metal talk, and it'll be fun.
Awesome.
There you
Love
go.
it. Thanks, Mitch. It's always great to do this with you.
Absolutely. Hold on tight. Let me just hit stop record.
Okay.
Bye, folks.